I am your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I have been doing economic empowerment stroke entrepreneurship seminars with churches for years. For those who know me from the East and in the Midwest, what I am saying today is not new. Number two, if you are a pastor, you are a general overseer, stop being carried away by the delusion of the excitement of ministry. When you reach 65 to 70, reality will dawn on you. Things become very different. You must learn to be entrepreneurial and productive as well as being spiritual. Don't just do spirituality. The Bible has two parts. There is the sociology of the Bible, which is in the Old Testament, and there is the spirituality of the Bible, which is in the New Testament. You can't live like the 12 disciples or Paul or John the Baptist in this dispensation where you will need to pay bus fees, pay train fee, tickets, buy air flight tickets, pay children's school fees, pay all kinds of things. The biblical era was an agrarian era. But even as at that, a great percentage of the illustrations Jesus gave were entrepreneurial illustrations, illustrations on productivity. I started ministry with all these things you guys are doing. People will fall. But as a scientist, I will review these same people that fell. When they fall, they wake up, they come again. Some of them, every guest speaker, they will fall. Break chairs they cannot buy. And then I started thinking, why is it that these people, their lives do not change? I had some of them who took prayer warrior. I know one of them, a businessman, businesses started crumbling. I know the ones whose lives became wretched because they were not productive. Jesus did not come to preach Christianity. The word Christian was first used in Antioch by unbelievers to describe the disciples of Christ. Jesus came to preach kingdom. You can't live like Peter, you can't live like Paul, you can't live like John the Baptist. Take their spirituality, mix it with the sociology of Abraham, who had land, who had wells, who had cattle, with the sociology of Isaac, who prospered, who was industrious. How many of you have had a closer relationship with God than Isaac, who was farming, who was transacting business, or like Boaz, or like Joseph in Egypt? No, we can't just be spiritual. It's like baking bread. On one side, it will be burnt. The top will not be. When you bake bread, you turn it. There's a long paddle you put inside and turn it. So we are not attacking church. Let me tell you one truth. For most men in my age bracket who are in Pentecostal churches or even Orthodox, what I'm wearing now is an Anglican t-shirt. You just gave it to me. So I speak to them. So the most people of my age bracket are dissatisfied with the kind of messages we are preaching, the kind of attitude we are displaying in church as leaders. And some of them have stopped coming to church. Some of the younger ones listen to messages online so that when you come to church and you're talking your bracabra, they don't listen to you. I don't pastor a church. The church I started, I'm an ordinary member there. I give it out. I'm an ordinary member. On Sunday, I will be there. My pastor is a young man. I taught him in the Bible school. I taught my pastor in the Bible school. The two pastors that have pastored me, I taught them in Bible schools. But I'm an honorary member there. I was the general overseer of the church and I gave it out. They are using my property. So we are not seeking popularity or charlatanism or whatever. I've spent time and energy in the kingdom. Let me give you this. A bishop of the Anglican Communion invited me to come and lecture them on managing church resources in times of scarcity. Now, church resources should not just be dumped and be squandered on unnecessary voyages and all. This travel I went to, I could have afforded it, but my children took care of it. That's another story. I will tell you as a Christian, as a minister, how to build for your future. There's none of my boys, no person who is my follower here in Ughelli and environs, Bayelsa, Delta, Rivers State, Abia State, that is not doing well. Most of my mentees are millionaires, they are landlords, they are doing well because they have learned from the principles that I have lived by. So, managing resources, church resources in the midst of scarcity. Now, one of the things, the cottage industries that churches can invest in, you don't need to produce cars as a church. You don't need to produce airplane. You don't need to produce batteries as a church. There are low-hanging fruits that the churches can invest in. Let me tell you, the stockings we use in our 2 schools, and when we buy stockings every year, they are branded. We used to import from China and our ties. But the stockings we are now using are produced in Nigeria. Each year, my wife buys stockings that run into millions. And who is producing them? Catholic sisters, Roman Catholic sisters. They have a cottage industry that produces stockings, and I suspect sweaters. But we buy because we have people who produce sweaters for us here. They supply us stockings. Just imagine all the Catholic schools in the country that they buy their stockings from the Reverend sisters. It will go into millions of naira. That's what we are talking about. So, establish a knitting factory in your diocese, in your big prayer camps, those your big church compounds. A knitting factory to produce sweaters, to produce stockings. Go to Agbaroto here. There's a cooperative that produces sweaters. The person that was producing sweaters for me was an engineer and a lecturer. One other person that produced for me, my classmate's wife, my medical classmate, his wife produces sweaters. She's a nurse that works in Shell. All the children know how to produce sweaters. So, sweaters, knitting. Number 2, you can own a bakery. Own a bakery. When you come for conventions, the bread your members eat, hundreds and thousands of people will come. Why don't you own a bakery? Make your members distributors. They will work there. You buy flour from your members, or you buy flour directly from the producers. And you will see that your price will be low. Just opposite me here in this street, there's a shopping mall that has a bakery here. They are using a story building here. And the bus that comes to carry the bread fresh and hot to the shopping mall comes close to about 10 times a day, loaded. You can produce bread. Hallelujah bread. El Shaddai bread. The bread of life. Good names. You can produce bread. The next thing is that you teach your people how to bake cakes. All the weddings that take place in your church, you can produce the cakes for them. Let me not forget, let me just talk about that one. You can have an outfit that arranges halls for ceremonies. You have the bridal train, you can walk protocol. I used to tell my friend who does protocol when I go to preach in their church, you people can organize yourselves and form a security company. El Shaddai Securities or El Shaddai Protocols. And you receive people from airport, you take care of people, take them to the hotel, they will feel safer in your hand. You can even use the bishop's SUV, have 2-3 SUVs of the bishop, and then you dress with suits and dress very well. Take some of the hefty boys. You'll be receiving visitors in your city, not only to your church. The next thing is that you can have a guest house. Have a guest house, an Airbnb. My bishop here has a guest house. Fortunately for me, if I stay there, it gives me free. but it is solar powered, it is neat. You don't, no smoking, no strange women, no internet fraudsters. As when I mean my bishop, you know who I'm talking about, not Church of God Mission Bishop. Bishop Kingsley Nakiriri. He has a guest house. Solar powered, neat, clean. And I will recommend it to you when you come to Ughelli. So, you can have a guest house. It will generate revenue. It will employ people. The next thing is that you can have a water factory. Water factory. When your people come for convention, you can have a water factory that produces water. You can have a uniform producing company that produces uniforms for schools. You know how much I spend in producing uniforms for my two schools? My wife spends a lot. You can brand the uniforms in Lagos or brand them anywhere, and then you produce the customized uniforms. You can have a printing press. I have a printing press. We are so busy that we don't accept jobs from other people. We are so busy producing our own books, exercise books, workbooks, academic excellence. We even sell to other schools weekly report booklets. We produce. The printing press, the generator that is producing in the printing press supplies electricity to the school. So we are maximizing the situation, maximizing resources. I have a poultry here. We are producing eggs until the price of feeds went up. But as a church, you can have a small feed mill, get an animal scientist to formulate for you. When they formulate for you, you can feed your birds with cheaper materials that are very, very effective. Go to Google, YouTube. You will see feeds that you can produce from local materials. And then you'll be selling eggs. People will be coming to pick eggs from your poultry. They will be busy. The broilers I will sell for Christmas. You remember I showed them to you. They are there. When I came from travel, I went to look at them. They are big. In my compound, I produce plantain chips here. I produce coconut candies. You as a church with big land, all these prayer camps that are useless throughout the year, you can do a lot there. You can rear pigs, produce pork, produce bacon, produce different things in that big space. I talked about water. The next thing is that you can have a housing unit. Buy land, build housing units that your members can pay off and take, and then you open in a new place, another unit in your new city, in another city. You have branches around Nigeria. You can have housing units around Nigeria. You will produce you can produce the electricity for them. Have 3 kilostar generators. You go to Greenville, they will be bringing gas every time to replace the gas. You can put the water in the housing estate with a big tank. Put meters, water meters in the compounds so that they pay their water bill. The electricity you are generating, put prepaid meters. You have the environmental sanitation company. Your members will be working in the environmental sanitation company, collecting the materials, make the materials metals, paper, wood. You will recycle the metals, you will recycle the plastics, you will recycle the paper, then get a borrow pit somewhere, one borrow pit that you will be emptying the refuse to. You put the refuse there, and you, after maybe 5, 6, 10 years when it is filled, you put sand on top of it and then level it. You have 2 options. You can drill a pipe, fenestrated pipe, like as they did in Manila. Drill a fenestrated pipe inside. The methane gas, you can use it to generate electricity. You can use it to generate cooking gas. Your piggery, the poultry manure, you can use it to generate biogas. There's so much you can do as a church body. So much you can do as a church body. The next video I will talk about men's fellowship, women's fellowship, what they can do to generate revenue in the church, to employ people, to develop our society. Let me say this and I will stop so that you will ask me, I know you people. I won't tell you everything. God the Father didn't tell God the Son everything. But I've shared this with churches, and many of them have put them into practice. In this platform, there are several general overseers, several bishops, but they say they can't comment so that you people will not come after them. Me, I know they normal. I know get shame. You come after me, I come after you. I say B. Social media is a public toilet. You do your own, you smell, I give you my own, you smell. So I say B. If I did normal, I know for day here. So there are several other things you can do as a Christian body. Let me say this. I have been teaching churches on how to run cooperatives. You have this large crowd of people. You just collect offerings from them, tithe from them. No! Form a church cooperative. There are bankers in your system. There are cooperative officers in your system. There are people, economists and all that. Form a cooperative. These 1,000 members, 2,000 members, 100,000 members, if they just contribute 1,000 naira every week, I'm just using it as an example. Just let's say 1,000 people. Tell them this Sunday is not, you are not giving any offering to the church. It's your cooperative offering. If they give 1,000 people give 1,000, it's 1 million. Times 52 weeks is 52 million. If you give me 52 million, I will give you 5.2 billion in 10 years. You can turn it around. You can use that 52 million, go and build a hostel in Abraka, build a hostel in Ekosodi, build a hostel somewhere in Agbo, in opposite University of Ibadan, build a hostel somewhere, Akoka or wherever. And because it's a Christian hostel, the people, and it is neat, you will generate eternal money. Each person that is in that cooperative has his membership card, his share capital, so that even if he dies, his children will continue with the cooperative. These are the things we are talking about. We are the only denomination, we are the only religion that prays with our eyes closed. Don't close your brain as you close your eyes. Shine your eye. Mumu time don't pass. How did Ishmael, you think Ishmael became rich by drinking water? No, he was selling water. How things he was doing. There are multitudes of things that we can teach you in your churches on how to generate revenue from low-hanging fruit, small businesses. 75% of the wealth of industrialized nations is from small and medium enterprises. Some of them generating less than $250,000 a year in the United States. And some of those countries don't tax such people. And so the church can produce wealth, employ people, and then turn night vigil to night shift. Even if you don't want to turn night vigil to night shift, do your night vigil, but have work to go in the morning. Don't sleep in the duty. If not, you will learn the hard way according to VDM. I remain Dr. Charles Apoki. They pay me well. They pay me well. They pay me well. Say black man, no, they use in head. Just they pay me well. God bless you. Send me a message on +234 7052136763. God bless you.